So now that you know how to hold your recorder properly, we can talk about how to actually get a sound out of your instrument. Now you might have already made a sound on your instrument and maybe it sounded good and maybe it didn't. So I have 4 things that you want to try to remember when you're playing your recorder to get the best possible sound. The first one is that you want to use warm, slow air and not too much. So you can kind of remember that as it's the same kind of air that you would use if you were trying to fog up a window with your breath. So go ahead and put your hand out in front of you and pretend like this is a window that you're trying to fog up and go ahead and breathe onto it. And you should feel that the air was really warm and it was slow and it wasn't too much. It's different than the kind of air you would use if you were going to blow out birthday cake candles. If you try to do that, pretend your hand is candles and blow them out, you should have felt a lot of air and it should have been cooler. If you use that kind of air on your recorder, it's going to sound like this. Not the best sound. So you want to try to just use a little bit of air and make sure it's that slow, warm air. If you do that, your sound will sound like this. And it will sound a lot better. That's the kind of sound that we want to have on our recorder. The second thing that you want to remember is to, not who. And what that means is when you blow into the recorder, you actually want to pretend like you're saying the word to. What that does is it actually makes your tongue touch the back of your teeth and it's going to just give a little bit of air into your recorder. It's also going to separate your notes. If you think who when you're blowing into the recorder like this, who, you're going to get way too much air into your recorder. So listen to what it sounds like if I think that I'm saying to while I play. Sounds really good. That's the sound that we want. So you can't actually say the word to, but if you pretend like you're doing it, it'll set up your tongue and your teeth in the right position so that you get a really good sound. The third thing you want to think about is your posture. If you are playing the recorder and you're slumped over like this, or you're laying on the couch, you're not going to have the best sound possible. Just like how we sit up nice and tall when we're singing, we need to do the same thing while we're playing the recorder because that enables our lungs to take a deep breath and enables all of our stomach muscles to help us breathe to do their job, and it will give us the best sound possible. And the last thing that you can remember is leaks equal squeaks. And what this means is if your fingers are not completely covering every hole, you're going to get a squeaky sound. So if I have my finger like this on the recorder, you can see that there's a little hole where some air is going to come out. It's going to sound like this. It's not going to sound too great. If I cover the hole completely, then I get the sound that I want. So a great way to look at this is if you practice in the mirror, you'll be able to see if you have any little leaks on your recorder. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you're pushing your fingers down hard enough. If you don't, air can seep out and that's how you'll get squeaks. So you should actually be able to take your finger off the recorder and see a little indentation of where the hole was on your finger. And I like to call them recorder warts. So if you take your finger off and you can see that circle indent, you know that you're pressing hard enough. If you can't, you need to push a little bit harder so that you'll make sure that you'll cover the hole completely. So if you remember those 4 things, then you are ready to start learning your first note on the recorder, which is B. So if you think you're ready, go ahead on to the next video and we will learn the note B.